So this one here is a new one for me. I got this in to do a rear end swap. It's literally just gonna be a stock replacement, but I don't get how the rear end went out. It's a V6, uh, and they managed to blow the rear end out. So uh, just gonna do a quick video of redoing the rear end. It's lowered, whatever. I think they just took a leaf spring out instead of actually doing a lowering kit or a flip kit or whatever. Whatever. So at first I thought it had a flip kit, so the axle was over the leaf springs, but it's not. So it makes it easier for me because I just have to remove the shackles, whatever, drop it, do the axle or drive shaft, and it'll drop right out. So that'll make it easier for me. Then I just have to do, all the little shit, calipers and all that. But that can literally hang. So it should be pretty straightforward. But like I said, I'll be starting on this right now. We'll see how this goes, but it should be fairly easy. I still don't have the new rear end. Hopefully they got the right one, because not sure, but hopefully. And it literally just bolt up, but we'll see how that goes. So here we go. So I got the wheels off. Since the axle hasn't been flipped to lower it, like I said, they just kind of half-assed it and removed springs, leaf springs. Should be pretty straightforward. I'm gonna undo all the calipers, the brake lines, and just hang those. Same with the e-brake lines, and then it should be able to just slide off. I got the axle off, with drive shaft. I don't know why I keep saying axle. Like I said, all those are mounted, and it should just drop right out. So pretty straightforward. So should be able to have it out here in about 15-20 minutes, maybe, hopefully. I don't know. Alright, so far, pretty easy. Oh, shoot. Yeah, that's part of it. I just had it hanging, but that wire was in the way. Alright, so far, all this lines for the brake here, undone. So this is all free from the actual differential part. Got the shocks undone. The calipers are, yeah, there's that. They're undone as well. I'll probably have to tape them up here just so they don't keep falling. Pretty much all that's left. I'm gonna loosen the 4 on each side for the leaf spring shackle, or whatever the fuck, not the shackle, the leaf spring, brain fart, but whatever. whatever holds the leaf spring down to the rear end. 4 bolts on each side, and then it should be free. Then I'll lower the truck and drop the differential off, and it's pretty much will be ready to swap everything over that needs to be swapped to the new one. Before I got it on the lift, I started, obviously, put it in gear. Drive shaft was moving, but nothing in the rear end, so I'm sure all the gears in the differential are completely shattered. I will open it up after it's all removed and stuff. I did not want to open it with it on the truck still and leak oil everywhere on the ground, so I will do that after I drain it and after it's removed. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, if it would have been a flip kit to be lower, it would have been a whole different story, because we would have to undone the leaf spring shackles back here or up front, then just roll it out of the way, which is just one more step. This is not a whole lot more work, but still more work that we're avoiding right here with this. So should be pretty straightforward from now on. So now, like I said, I'm gonna lower the truck, loosen those bolts up, then I'll be able to lower the rear end completely off the truck, so nothing's tying it down anymore. So I got everything off. Got this thing, whatever they're called, I can't think of it right now. It's probably gonna drop forward now that. Yep. At least it's junk. So. And that's off. So now we can literally raise the truck back up, and our rear end is off. Like I said, this way, how they did it, it's pretty easy because it's underneath. And the rear end is off, so tomorrow I gotta swap over calipers, probably discs, and all that. And I'll be able to throw the new one in. Hopefully everything is the same. Should be, because they supposedly got a stock replacement, so I guess we'll see. But that's it for now. I know I'm for sure gonna have them, or I'm gonna get new ones of this, because it won't focus, but they are fairly stripped, especially because they had sand and rust on them. I tried cleaning some of that off, but it didn't work out. Which you're supposed to replace them every time you do something like that anyways, since they pretty much hold the whole car, so it's common sense. Other than that, I mean, should be pretty straightforward going back in. Just gotta make a mount for my jack so it actually levels it, instead of just trying to hold the back end and then the weight from the pumpkin itself pushes it forward. Happens what happened to me. But like I said, tomorrow hopefully they bring the other one and I'll swap everything over, and maybe tomorrow it'll be back in and ready to go, so we'll see. This is the next day after I dropped the differential. Supposedly it's off the same truck, but here is the reason why I don't like pricing stuff before it gets brought to me. So, I made sure to tell him get a stock replacement, nothing that's been messed with. So, first off, he's like, oh, well, all that needs to do is, obviously they've messed with it before, so this is moved in for whatever reason, so I gotta move it out. I'm guessing they had it on a narrower truck, or fuck, who knows. So that's the first thing. Second thing is some of the Like this one's the same, that one, but this one's missing like the ones in between here for the brake mounts, or not brake mounts, the brake lines and stuff, which no big deal. And then all this is gone. The shield's completely rusted off, which that one's in really good condition. So that's exactly the reason why I don't like pricing stuff before it gets brought to me, because you end up screwing yourself over on that. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open that one up, see what's really wrong with it, and I might just try to swap over the internals from this one into that one, make it easier, and I won't have to modify all that and mess with it, because you can even see right here, it should be straight, but it's angled. Obviously they welded it on wrong. Another thing is, this one sits higher than that one, so if I was to just put this one like this, just move it where I need it, it would sit higher, therefore it would lift the truck up when it's already lowered, and I do not want to do that, and I don't want to have to grind it down to make it sit where it needs to be. So yeah, that's a shitty deal, but like I said, I think my best bet is going to swap internals over. Hopefully the axles aren't messed up, but if they are, I mean, I guess I have this. Another issue I just literally seen right now, this axle doesn't have ABS. That one does. So obviously this came off an older truck or a base, or I don't know. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. If not, I'll just have to tell them to get me the right rear end for the year truck. So I guess we'll see. Get ready for some carnage here. Ooh. First of all, there's no oil in it, so that's obviously a big deal. You see right there all the metal that actually got stuck to it. And I'll show you guys right here. Looks like the actual center part of the differential came apart, and it actually broke the input shaft. But that's just the whole center of the differential. Came completely apart. So that's that. Let me go over this real quick. After letting the customer know what happened to the old one, that the new one wasn't gonna fit whatever because of some of the brackets and this and that. He's like, well, I don't have money for a new one. Can you just make it work? Normally I wouldn't do it just because it's not how I do things, but just trying to get him back on the road. Supposedly, whenever he gets money, he's gonna get the right one and he'll bring it back to redo it. No big deal. I just still don't understand why they welded this to the bottom, but I have this cut out. Just got to smooth them out, take the old weld out, grind that down and mark it where I need it. So it's not easy. The only thing I'll have to switch over from the other one is this bracket here for the e-brake line, and other than that, everything else should just bolt up once I move this out some and weld them on. According to the guy that he bought it from, he said he had it on like a 92 1500. So I'm guessing the leaf springs are narrower, that's why they moved them over. But they did a really shitty job, but that's beside the point. Everything should work just fine. The only difference is going to be he's not going to have his ABS ports, but eventually should be converting to the correct rear end. So I guess we'll see. I'm sure once he starts driving it, he's just not going to want to worry about it. But I mean, at that point, it is what it is. But just trying to get him back on the road, trying to get this out of my lift, that way I could start working on the Toyota. So I guess, I mean, if it works, it works, but not really how I wanted to do it. So we're about back on the ground. I know the back end's going to be a little taller than before because those purchased it a little taller. Everything seemed to work fine other than some brake line brackets and those ABS sensors. So I guess tighten down the tires some more, jump the battery and give it a go, see what happens, see if it moves or not. So I got it back on the ground, kind of out of breath. I had to push the Toyota. First, as I pulled it in the garage, it sits a little angled. Can't really tell, but maybe if I back up. See how one side leans a little bit? I'm guessing when they did the front, they cut the springs, they didn't cut one side far enough, so it's leaning. I think the battery's gonna be dead, but we'll find out. No, it actually started. Let's see. It's moving. I just wanted to see if it would stop good and stuff. Just the brakes, but this thing's so big compared to the Toyota. But I'll put the hood down now that it started. Move some shit around so I can pull it out. Go drive it for a little bit. Alright, so the Chevy pickup is done. I drove it. Drives good. If it's a good rear end, it should. Other than ABS slide traction control. Nothing that we didn't know was going to be on. But that's our other garage now, so that's good. Worked great. Okay, so now we move on to the Toyota. So glad to have that out of here. and I can actually go to work on the coilovers on the Toyota, so that's nice.